So I get to start. Welcome to Streaming 101. Today we are talking about hardware. I am here with, once again, Professor Broman, and I am T-Rex. We're streaming live on twitch.tv/T-Rex today. Broman, where can these fine people find you at if they ever wanted to find you not on my channel?
Twitch.tv/Professor Broman.
That's great. That's great. So, we covered last week a lot of the starting streaming, like all like the super basic, as many things as possible. We got off on tangents occasionally.
No, it was good.
And stuff like that, but overall it was it's a good time. So today we're gonna delve like deeply into specifically the hardware pieces of streaming. So
Hardware.
Yeah, do you want to talk about more in depth about the very first, once again starting from start to finish?
So we like to start these podcasts by telling you our journey through whatever it is that we're talking about. So our hardware, T-Rex and I started streaming on the same setup. Our hardware journey started with a really crappy $600 laptop and a Hauppauge HD PVR 2 capture device.
Yep.
And XSplit. So in order to stream off the Hauppauge, we had to use its own native capture software in a window, capture that window with XSplit, and then broadcast that way. Things we didn't understand when we started streaming.
Yeah.
There was delay due to that method of processing the image. That was
real bad.
5 seconds. We used the web camera on the webcam mic and the webcam on the on the freaking God, what's it called? On the laptop.
Mm-hmm.
And all things considered, it was hideous.
Oh, it was bad. No, it was like the worst thing to ever cross the planet of Earth. It was absolutely bad.
It was bad. And I streamed off of that setup for 5 months.
Was it that long? Honestly, I don't remember.
However long we were living together and I was streaming. So maybe since we bought it, probably 4 months.
Didn't you eventually did you use the HTTP or did you just get a Elgato?
We got the Elgato, but we used the HD PVR for a while.
Okay. I just couldn't remember. It's been so long.
And that was to stream Xbox 360.
Yeah, that was back before the now current gen consoles were even out. Right? We didn't. Yeah. The Xbox One wasn't out yet. Neither was PS4. It was 360 and PS3. So and then some PC stuff, which we never actually we never did PC stuff. What are we talking about?
True. It's true.
So that was the very first thing.
We never streamed PC stuff together. No.
Since your journey continues before mine starts, what was your first streaming PC look like? Like when you first
first streaming PC?
Yeah. What was the next step after the HD PVR and then the junk top?
Okay, so I built I built a streaming PC and it was budget as fuck. I think I had AMD FX 6 something, or it was like a 6-core AMD black edition processor. The thing was like $90. I got a cheap ass motherboard whose name I can't remember, cheap ass power supply whose name I can't remember, and I was gifted a nice NVIDIA video card. Everything I bought it, I couldn't tell you anything that was in that PC other than the processor.
Yeah.
And the video card, which I think was a NVIDIA GTX 660. Yeah, so it was really, really bad. But it got the job done, and I actually streamed off of that computer or a setup similar to that because shit would break in there, obviously. And I would just replace it instead of being like, you know what might be a smart idea
is to go ahead and put
a little bit more money and buy a better computer. So I used that particular streaming rig for about a year and a half, or maybe even oh god.
It was a long ass time.
Almost close to 2 years I streamed off of that.
Yeah.
So that cost $600 because the video card was gifted to me.
It's crazy how I feel like I know for the longest time I was under the opinion of if it's something you can fix, just fix it versus now just buying something new and replacing it. I feel like now with the track record of the things that break and after replacing it break again, I just want to buy new stuff. I think at this point, I don't think I'll ever try to repair anything ever again. Minus a specific PC component that's hot swappable. But if a board breaks, I might just buy a brand new computer, flat out new parts and everything, and then have those parts for back. Yeah, you want to talk about that? You want to talk about that?
Let me give you guys the breakdown when it came to things that I had to repurchase. I think I had to purchase the processor twice. My motherboard died twice. Power supply 3 times. This was all when I was living in Indiana, and I didn't know, and this was a huge problem, is that the power coming in off my wall was dirty. Dirty power is just power that has a lot of like variance in it, and a lot of variable power going into your PC is going to burn out your parts really fast. The power was so bad that when I took my old, like I bought a new computer and I had enough old parts to make an old parts PC. When I was putting that PC together and installing Windows on it, it actually made two of the wires melt inside my power supply, and then it caught on fire while I was installing Windows.
It's bad.
It's bad. It's real bad. It was real bad.
I know. Actually, I still have it. Hold on.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me. I actually, it's literally like right next to me. I still have the first PC that I was streaming out of UCity with.
Show everybody.
It lasted me for almost a whole year. It still works. Nothing bad about it. This guy right here. I have him as a backup in case I ever needed to, I don't know, salvage it for parts. But I think it's gonna go in the living room as a media PC, and then of course stay as my backup.
Yeah, of course.
Like if this thing shits the bed, that's gonna be 1, a very angry phone call, and 2, it's gonna be it shouldn't put me down, though I'll have to. No, I have 2 Magewells. Never mind, we're fine. It's big, baby. That was what I had. This was I bought this off of a friend who was selling it because I couldn't afford what I have now, obviously. Yeah. So my like entry level spending to start having a quality stream, if we want to start by talking about that, would be, so this PC was $500. It has what did it have in it at the time? I want to say it was a 960. It had an i7. It was an old i7 that was in it. And then budget 16 gigs of RAM, and I bought it for $500. There's a lot of other stuff in there too, like great fans. It was a good like starting machine, and I got it for honestly a steal, prospectively, because stuff like that, if you buy it new and all that kind of stuff, even like old i7s are still expensive. Like it's just hard to get cheap processors that will do what you want.
Yeah, but that's probably if you're looking at like. Well, there's two pieces of hardware I think that are the most important for you if you're just starting out, and that's probably your processor and your microphone. Because your processor is what's going to push all your encoding. And so like if you have a really crap processor, it might get the job done. You might still be able to broadcast, like I certainly did. But the second that I upgraded from my AMD to my Intel, like not only did my CPU temperatures drop by like 40 degrees, which was ridiculous and blew my mind, but my stream quality was noticeably different for all my regulars who were coming in like, holy crap, bro, man, what'd you do? And I was just like, stopped using AMD.
The local, the better processor. So just to give you a good example, the better the processor you have, the better local encoding you can do. So that means that the stream can look nicer before it gets sent out to the server. So before it gets broken apart and sent to you, it looks better, and of course makes the end product look better when it gets to your screen and stuff like that. For me, I would agree with that, but I'll say having like the right capture card if you are not doing, because I mean, assuming you're not streaming off of,
we have to differentiate when we're talking about that as well.
Because if you, I mean, those two things you mentioned don't matter if you're streaming directly off console. So if you want to know the cheapest you can go for like a quality stream and like an okay setup, I would say if you already have an next-gen console, start there. Then you can start devoting a little more time. But I would agree. I would say processor. And if you're just doing console capturing, I personally still like, if you want a nice, effective, inexpensive card, I would say the AverMedia Live Gamer HD lasted me so long. It worked so well. It doesn't do 1080, but honestly, if you're streaming in 1080, I think you're shooting yourself in the foot. That's a Is that a topic for hardware? Or is that a topic for a different week?
I mean, we can hit it towards at the end.
All right. But, so yeah, I would say processor, capture card, and I would agree microphone.
Yeah.
So we kind of talked a little about processors. I personally, I agree with Ben. I like Intel more as well. It just seems like they just last longer. I don't know. I'm not trying to bash AMD. If you have AMD and it works, fucking great. But I have just had good experience with Intel every time I've gone with them.
Exactly.
And stuff like that. So I started out with this guy. I bought, actually no. Did I buy this? No, I did. I bought the Avenue Live Gamer HD. Someone essentially paid for it though. They tipped me and they're like, "Hey, up your quality, nerd." And they gave it to me pretty much. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And I installed that, worked like a dream, all that kind of stuff. And it lasted me up until I bought this machine after I moved. So it lasted me basically a whole year. And people liked my stream, and I grew my stream off that machine specifically. So you don't have to have this insane money drop to be successful on Twitch, if that is your goal, or to grow, or to have a community. You don't need to have a 3K PC, a $1,000 mic, all that kind of stuff. You don't need those things. It's just kind of about, increasing your quality slowly but surely.
Yeah, increasing your quality slowly over time. I think that there's definitely like we said, like there's a lot of things that you can do at the start that'll kind of set you up for success. So like T-Rex said, if you're streaming from console, then the best thing you can do while you're streaming from console is to just start on whatever that console is. The two current gen consoles, for like minus the Wii U, have built-in streaming software, so it is a great way. It's a great way for you to be able to handle your streams if you like it on console. And honestly, if you're trying to devote your stream to console streaming, you're actually going to have a little bit more to always invest in, because you're going to be looking for a capture card. Unless you get into really high-end PC builds where they use you can use two PCs and have one be a gaming PC and one be a streaming PC, but that's like far beyond the scope of what we're going to talk about today. If you're streaming directly from PC, though, there are a few other things to consider, because instead of just kind of focusing all your cost on your processor, you're also probably going to want to focus it on your video card.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be running, assumedly, pretty graphic intensive games.
Yeah.
And streaming at the same time. So this puts your computer under a lot of duress, which is
good word.
Yeah, it's hard, and that's why it's definitely necessary to have, if you're going to be streaming PC games from one PC. That's why the processor is such a big investment, because it's going to be able to split your tasks properly without tanking your frame rate, which can be a huge problem. I know T-Rex used to have frame rate issues a lot.
Yeah, on my old machine, I had to. Frame rate on what was it? Borderlands.
Borderlands, because that's what we both started streaming.
Yeah. So I had a budget card and stuff like that. So when we do Borderlands 2 speedruns, my machine sometimes would just have it'd be a problem. It would have heating issues, stuff like that, just because it wasn't designed to do all that. I actually upgraded that machine later on in the future to have, I think it's a 970 in there and better cooling and better fans.
Mm-hmm.
That was much later though. But when I was doing that, it was kind of a problem. But honestly, if you want to do PC streaming, that is a much higher investment if you want like a decent quality stream, because you're going to be basically investing in a good video card. I personally I have dual 980s on my new machine, but I would say you can get by on a 970 or just a singularity, just fine. You'll be fine. Plus, the nice thing about investing in a better graphics card that's an NVIDIA is there is I don't know if I can show you it here. Let me see if it can be captured, and I can put it over chat real quick. There is okay, cool, sweet. Let me see if I can just shove it in front of there. Right. Nope, doesn't go over chat. Rip. There is basically a type of encoding you can do. If you go into OBS, there is X264, which is going to be your processor doing the encoding. Or if you have a video card, you can do NVENC, which can do more of the heavy lifting as well. So if you have a nice 970, 980 card doing console streaming even, that can offload some of the work on your processor.
But it comes at a cost.
It does.
Twitch does not necessarily receive that encoding very well.
And it can make your stream choppy.
Yeah, it can make your stream choppy. It'll look great for 20 seconds, and then it'll lag for a little bit. You won't see it on your end, but it's a problem with the images being received and the way they're being processed by your computer and the way Twitch pushes them out.
Yeah. So, okay, we've hit processors, what we prefer, why they're important. Mm-hmm. Video, not really video cards. We've done GPUs, why they're important, what they also can do for you. So before we do video cards, let's do microphones.
Okay.
Real quick.
So everybody wants to know what.
Yeah, I'm seeing that a lot, and that's why I want to talk about it.
That's the first. Yeah, it's the first thing. It's in chat. It's blowing the chat up, and I see a lot of specific build questions, guys. And we'll get to some general tips at the end that you can kind of check off.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I have this. My thing is okay.
A TLDR.
Yeah.
Mind you.
For your specific build questions, because we're not going to run down everybody's build. But yeah, microphones. I actually was thinking about this a lot this week, and for me, when you're starting off, you kind of have two options. One, you can use whatever sort of built-in stuff you have, and that's enough to sort of get you off the ground. I think I used my webcam mic until I had like 10,000 followers.
Damn.
Which was not necessarily the best thing, and then I switched over to a Blue Snowball microphone, which is great. Any sort of USB related microphone, or if you're looking for like an all-in-one solution that's gonna be able to handle all your audio as well as your voice, there are a lot of really good PC headsets now that you can use that high quality mic. Now the thing is, you don't want to get sucked into like investing into like a $300 headset for streaming, because instead of spending that much money on the thing because it says it has a high quality microphone, which a lot of things do, it's a high quality microphone, but you'd probably be better off taking some of that extra money and saying like, okay, I bought a nice $50 pair of over-ears. If you have $300 to spend, and you could spend the other $250 on a microphone, and there'd be a much more noticeable improvement. But the Blue Snowball, if you're looking for standalone, is probably the best starting point.
Yeah.
Especially since people seem to go through that like really quickly. Like people who are starting to stream, they'll get that and then they'll move on. I think I donated my microphone to a starting streamer.
Ah, nice.
After I was done with it. I've done that with pretty much all my microphones except for one of them. And that's just because the thing was a mess.
Yeah. So a lot of people use Blue Yetis. If you want a good example, someone who I think is a great streamer, and it inspires me, is I love Dan's Gaming. But Dan's Gaming is under the impression, for the most part, for a long time, was if it's not broken, don't fix it. He doesn't say that. But he's used the same setup for so long.
Forever.
Like he had a Blue Yeti. I don't think he has it now, but he had a Blue Yeti for definitely into last year. Hey, look, there's the Wilderbot host. But that was something that you don't need to have the highest end stuff, because at the end of the day, you can potentially be the focus of your stream depending on how you do it. But that's a whole different thing. But they're there hopefully for you and for your content, not there just because you have cool graphics and a cool mic. That's not going to get you anywhere. So once again, don't overinvest and then expect a return. I have a friend who got into streaming who overinvested, and they were expecting, I got this nice keyboard, mouse, camera, microphone, and I got a DX Racer chair, and I got all these cool things now, and they expected a return on investment in their stream. Not necessarily monetarily, but they thought, I'm going to pull in more viewers now, and all that kind of stuff. But it's just like... It's not the case.
I actually think that's probably like the crux of everything that we're talking about today, is that we always want to try and bring everything back to starting your stream, getting started, growing, whatever, and what's a good investment and what isn't. And hardware is, honest to God, like if your shit just works consistently, you're fine.
If people's ears aren't bleeding, they can see you or your gameplay. If you don't want to have face cam, then whatever. If they see the gameplay and can hear you clearly, you're golden.
Yeah.
Golden.
Yeah. So that is the big thing, is that for me, for my personal, like my decision streaming, the last thing that I invested in, and T-Rex can attest to this, was my hardware. I used the same broken stuff month after month after month, even though it continued breaking and causing problems. And sorry, my nose is really itchy.
No, it's fine. I get you, man.
Didn't feel like
allergies, bro.
I didn't feel like I was going to get a return on that investment. And I guess like if we're talking about investing into your stream, investing your time, because I know when you're starting, everyone's starting, you have a limited amount of time and a limited amount of resources. So spending 20 hours researching what's the best microphone is probably not the best use of your time.
Yeah. And then just real quick to hit that question, because I guess we might have misled people a little bit, but CDR Soup 1, you guys said that PC streaming is much harder. How do you think the games like Binding of Isaac and other easy games, or is it not really matter about the game? Yes and no. Yes, it matters, because whenever you stream directly from the PC, you just have more things going on with your machine, and OBS is already kind of a confusing program. Like, there's a lot of things that can just... It's another gear in the system for your computer to work through. So it can cause problems, even if it's a very easy game. Sometimes it can cause infuriating problems if it's an easy game, because like, oh, it won't capture because of some dumb shit. But you are right. It's less taxing on your computer, and that still is a very popular game. After it came out, people were fucking going ham in Binding of Isaac. But for the most part, for let's say World of Warcraft, Overwatch, like the Blizzard games, CS:GO, stuff like that. If you want that to run properly, you're gonna want to invest a little more into having your computer work. If you're doing Binding of Isaac, whatever, that's fine. But don't be fooled thinking that it's not gonna have any problems because the game itself isn't taxing. And stuff like that.
Exactly. And that's another key thing, is that when you're streaming PC games, you're going to be compared to whatever else is out there.
Ooh, that's a good point.
Or console games as well. The quality of your game image is what's going to be critiqued the most. If you got a doo-doo webcam, whatever, people are like, hey, no problem. I don't really care about your
Is that a chicken nugget in the corner? I can't tell.
Yeah, but they want to be able to see the game very well. So especially if you're streaming like more of the high-end stuff that's coming out, like Fallout and things like that, you're going to need to invest more heavily in the graphical capabilities of your computer just so it's able to run a beautiful game and a beautiful stream at the same time. So that's definitely, so the quality comparison is definitely going to be there. But if you're not partnered, and this is the real big kick in the nuts of not being partnered, and I wish that this would change, is transcoding.
It's expensive though.
It is expensive, and we can get into that some other day. But the problem is, no matter how high quality all of your stuff is, if you're broadcasting in a picture quality that is greater than what most people can watch,
480? Is that what default
480p?
Is? Okay.
I broadcast in 480 for a very, very long time. Until you get partnered. Sometimes broadcasting in 720, which is something I would experiment with when I was growing my stream. I'm going to do a high def stream today, and the viewership would tank because people just can't watch that. And now that encoding kind of, it's possible for you to get encoding if you get a little bit more viewers and things like that. So the other big issue you could have when you're starting up with over-investing is you might invest in all this stuff and be able to push out the highest quality stream in the entire universe.
But it doesn't matter.
But then no one can watch it.
Yeah. And for those who don't know, real quick, encoding, layman's terms, it is your quality options. So in the bottom right-hand corner of the streams, you have a little wrench, or I think it's a cog. I forget what it is sometimes. I never change it. I can always watch on source. But you can go source, high, medium, low, mobile, sound only, or is that sound only on mobile? Either way, those are the options that partners have, or if they also, if not enough partners are online, or they have extras because they pay for basically, I think it's X amount of people that can have transcoding. So when they hire a partner, quote unquote hire, they lease out the transcoding 100% of the time to that partner, no matter when they go live. But let's say there's not a lot of partners online, not a lot of broadcasters online. They will give it to people who are streaming, and I think, I don't know how the list works, but let's say you have 200 viewers, you're not a partner, and you're streaming at 3 in the morning. All of a sudden, bam! Your stream looks like it pauses and buffers, and then all of a sudden you have a little thing in the bottom right-hand corner telling you oh, you can do source, medium, high, all that kind of stuff, all that stuff. Yeah. So there's that. Let's do capture cards.
Yeah, I was actually just going to talk about that since we were on quality. So capture cards is another thing. If you are not streaming from your PC and you want to stream from a console, whether it's from Super Nintendo or PlayStation 4, capture cards are kind of like your lifeblood. It's how you pull the image into your computer if you're not broadcasting from it directly. It's how you pull the image into your computer so that everyone can see it.
Keep talking. I'm just gonna grab one.
Definitely, grab your stuff. It is definitely not an area to skimp on. So just like if you're trying to invest in something, we'd recommend PC. You want a processor so it can do encoding. If you're doing console streaming, you want to invest in a decent capture card. So
what are you talking about? Sorry.
You want to invest in a decent capture card. So for example, when I tried to start streaming off of console, when we started streaming off console, we just sort of bought what was available. And there wasn't a lot of options out there. There was maybe 3 or 4. And we started by getting the HD PVR2, which was a nightmare. We upgraded from that to the original Elgato HD, which was pretty good. It had a 2-second delay, so you had to tailor everything around it. But it captured a nice quality image. Okay? So capture card takes the image, for those of you who are asking, the capture card takes the image from your console, whatever it may be, captures it, and provides it as an output to your computer. Because you can't just take your Xbox and plug it into an HDMI port on your computer and then capture it.
If only.
If only it was that good. Yeah. So basically, for me, if you're capturing from an HDMI source, my best starting recommendation is an AverMedia Live Gamer HD. It's a onboard capture card, which means it is something you plug straight into your computer. You have to open it up and put it in a PCIe slot, but it provides solid quality. I think you can get them for used. You could probably find them for around $90 now. You can buy them for 120 used, and they do 720p 720 at 60 FPS. And do they do 30 at 1080? I think they do 30 at 1080. But it's a really good starting point if you're capturing HDMI. If you're not capturing HDMI, like let's say you want to stream Super Nintendo games, there aren't a lot of options.
I'm trying to pull mine out right now. Sorry.
The two that T-Rex is working on there.
Oh, it's like right next to me. Why not? I just gotta do one.
The two that I have mine right here.
Well, I have mine too, but I have the AverMedia, so fuck you.
Okay. Yeah. The two that I started off, I had an Easy Cap 2.0 and a Dazzle.
That Dazzle was a piece of shit.
The Dazzle, in my opinion, is not worth the amount of time that you have to spend learning how to use it before you throw it out a window and give up.
Yeah, Dazzle. I know people use it because it captures. Not component. What's it called? Blue, yellow, white, red. Composite.
Yeah, that's
composite. It captures composite signal, and I think it can do component and stuff like that. So it's good for like old gen gaming and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But I wouldn't recommend for most things. I know if you're let's say you're into speedrunning Yoshi's Island, SM64, like those types of games, maybe you can use that. But for now, the thing we're recommending is,
Did you finally get it out?
I did, right here. This guy right here. This is the AverMedia Live Gamer HD. Plops in right there. This is the front, so this is what you're going to be tossing into. It has HDMI in. It's a throughput. Has other audio stuff, but you don't have to touch it. So basically, you toss in your Xbox, PS4, whatever cable into the in port, and then loop it through the out port. So you need an extra HDMI cable. That'll go to your TV or whatever. And then this, with OBS, will detect it, and you can use some settings, and you can have it broadcasted from this guy right here. All kind of stuff.
That's what a capture card do. That's good. The capture card I use currently, which is a huge step up from the $50 Dazzle, is this guy. It is a Magewell. It's an XI100D capture card. It's about $300, so it is expensive. But it does 1080p, 60 FPS. It runs off a USB 3, and it is plug and play. This is the simplest capture card I have ever used. Hands down, it's great, and I highly recommend it. But again, it might not necessarily be the best thing to use when you're starting out.
Yeah.
So another question that you might have, especially if you're capturing console, is some console games run in 30 FPS. Why would I want to capture them in 60? So this really weird thing happens when you're trying to capture a 30 FPS game in 30 FPS. It looks even worse. And for whatever reason, it's like the frames that you're capturing and the frames that are being broadcast by your console aren't syncing up. So it'll miss like 1 out of every 6 or 7 frames and make the frame rate tank and look like, this game's crap. It's got like 10 FPS. I don't understand. So I always recommend, even if you're capturing from a 30 FPS signal, to always capture it at 60. Because it's going to actually catch all of the images that are coming out.
Yeah. I don't know. I personally haven't had that problem because I have always done 48 or above. Just out of curiosity. Mainly because like some stuff was 60 FPS, but that was something where I didn't have to ever touch it. If I was playing a 60 FPS game or a 30 FPS game, it would always just kind of look very similar. Because honestly, a lot of people, it's different now. I mean, people are much more attuned to 60 FPS games, but you know, they couldn't tell the difference between 30 and 48. They looked similar, you know, so there's that. But real quick, someone had another thing about old gen gaming and broadcasting. The Retron 5, I have heard that's hit and miss. I've heard some of them have problems I mean, it's great that you can like toss in anything you ever want onto that guy, and then it's HDMI out. That's great. But I've also heard sometimes that kind of are crapshoot in regards to some of the things that happen with them. So I don't know. I'm not an old-gen gamer, so that's not a question for me. You're welcome to try it, but I've just heard mixed reviews about the Retron 5. It just seems like some are good and some aren't. I don't know what to say. So that's capture cards. That's that stuff. Elgato's not bad. We just don't use Elgato, personally. I know the new HD60 people seem to really, really like. But the old Elgato cards that we originally had that desync. So that 2-second delay in the game sound versus what was on the screen. Actually, no, sorry. The game sound and stuff was on point, but it was 2 seconds behind our audio.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was synced. Like, the game looked fine, the audio was fine, but you would hear our reactions early, correct? To the game?
Yeah,
it was 2 seconds early.
Exactly.
So it was just kind of off-putting. But a lot of people recommend Elgato for YouTube. But I mean, I like what I have. As long as, like, once again, harken back to what we said before. Is it working? Great. That's it.
Yeah. So that's the other thing that you run into is, especially if you're looking at capture cards, if you're going to invest in something, I always recommend going with something that's going to be on board. Because if you're going to use a USB device, there are a lot of potential variables that could screw you up. Like, for example, you can't use a 3.0 capture card if you don't have a 3.0 USB slot to plug into. Yeah. Additionally, you could run into weird delay problems, or something that we dealt with a lot, or I dealt with a lot when we started streaming. I started streaming Destiny from console with the old Elgato HD, is that it would build delay over time.
Oh, yeah, that was.
And you'd have to basically restart the video signal every hour to catch it up, because it was weird. Like every 10 minutes it would fall another quarter of a second behind until it was just way behind all the audio. So there's all sorts of really finicky things that happen when you do a USB capture. But the best thing to do, I think, if you're starting out, is to just kind of avoid that mess all along, because like I said, you're not going to have a lot of time. You're working, you're doing whatever else, going to school, and you just want to stream. You want to sit down and click a button and stream. So I always recommend the easiest to go with is the onboard, because it's pretty plug and play. I haven't run into an onboard that I strongly disliked. I haven't really run into an onboard that I wouldn't recommend, minus the Black Magic, because that one was a little finicky. Did you have any experience with that, T-Rex?
With what? Once again?
Black Magic.
No, I never used it.
Onboard. No. I got a Black Magic. Again, this is like even a higher end onboard one. It was a Black Magic 4K. It was supposed to be able to capture in 4K. But my computer wouldn't even recognize it. I spent like 20 hours trying to troubleshoot this thing because I was like, I want this 4K capture for no reason.
Oh, it was the one. I remember this. Okay, yeah. That was when we were in U City. I remember now. Okay, I'm on board.
Exactly. So I was like, oh, and it just wouldn't work. But other than that, which I do know some people that use that card, and once you get it to work, it's just godly. But Elgato or AverMedia onboard cards are going to work great.
I would agree.
That's what I recommend. Cameras. Let's talk about cameras.
Okay, and then I think after cameras, we should talk about what we currently have. If people want to cost of investment,
cameras, we'll talk about what we currently have, and then we'll do questions.
Sure, perfect.
What does 4K mean? Sorry, 4K is a picture quality. You have 720, you have 1080, and then you have 4K. So Ultra HD is what 4K is. It has 4,000 pixels vertically. Correct?
Yes. Wait. Yes. I responded immediately. I was like, but then I was like, wait, no, because it's this by this. But yes, it's 4,000 vertical. No, wait, is it? Shit, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it's vertical. Yeah, it's vertical.
Yes, it's vertical.
Yeah.
Wait, did you say horizontal? Oh, whatever. Yeah, 4K is horizontal.
Son of a bitch.
Horizontal POC. Yeah, it's horizontal. Okay.
See, now everyone will get to experience chat delay.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah,
not at all. Nope, not at all. See, there you go.
See, yeah, exactly. I was very confused. That's why I like check it back, because I was like, wait, no, it's X by X, and the second one is the vertical one, and the 4K is not the second one, because that means the first one's like, what, 8K? So it'd be like 8K signal?
Whatever, I don't care.
Are you really?
Basically, it's the best quality, is what I was trying to say. You asked me a too technical of a question, and I got a little dumb.
No, we just got backwards. We went ads backwards. By the way, Ben, did you get a text from Dad?
I did not get a text from Dad.
Okay, do you want to hear Dad's text?
Sure, guys, we have a text from our dad.
Are you really together streaming on Sam's channel, or is this some digital magic? I love our
Dad, it's digital magic.
It's digital magic. We're in a video conference.
We're
streaming on my channel.
Yeah, we're on T-Rex's channel, and he has captured my video feed and put it up.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love my dad. Our dad's great. Okay, so cameras.
Okay.
All right.
So like I said, when I started, I used a really crappy 420p camera based off the webcam. Right now, I use a Logitech 920C. I'll say that again real slow. Logitech 920C. It is probably the best bang for your buck when it comes to a USB camera. I've tried a lot of them. I've stuck with this. I even bought a 60 FPS 1080p camera to run through a capture card in this whole convoluted setup. And I actually still like this more. It works for my setup better to have a camera mounted on one of my monitors. So that's the camera that I use right now. And it's one I would recommend. You can also, like we said with the console stuff, a lot of things come with native cameras right now. So you have like the PlayStation camera or the Kinect camera. And those work just fine. Again, like camera quality isn't necessarily something you want to invest in heavily up front. This camera, I believe I got it for like $60. You can look for it on sale on Amazon. It's like usually about $60.
It's not that much. It really isn't that much.
Yeah, and it's going to deliver pretty good quality.
Good enough. Like that's, and once again, it harkens back once. Good. Does it work? Great.
Great. It's great. 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 It works great. It's everything. It's great.
I don't like having a mess in my room, so just put this back in. We're good.
Yeah, so T-Rex, do you want to show everyone your camera?
Sure. I can't really. I can show you the box.
That's right. You can't really take it out. Hang on. I actually have T-Rex's camera.
Oh, that'll work.
I bought it and don't use it. So let me get the camera and T-Rex will talk about it.
Mom, get the camera. I like this camera a lot. It's one I was recommended by, I think, CMS 86. I think is one who recommended this to me. It was this for Josh. So this is a Vixia, I think, HFG20. I can't remember. It's something 20. But I think I got it for $900. I forget. I can check my pricing. Basically, it was expensive. It's 60 FPS, 1080p, has a zoom, so I can do this for when I feel like it. And basically, I got a white balance card with it and all that kind of stuff. So that's why I always, at least for the most part, look like I'm 60 FPS. I had a lot of problems with it at first because it's just complicated. I'm not a camera guy, so it took a lot of figuring it out, trial and error, reading the manual, a lot of stuff. But now I think it looks great. I need better lighting to really get the full effect of the camera, but I love the thing. You can definitely see all my blemishes way easier now. I'm way more self-conscious about my face. So that's great. I feel worse about myself on a daily basis. So that's what I have. That's my camera right now. But for the longest time, I was using like the most expensive like Intel webcam. Whatever. Not Intel, sorry. Logitech, I think. Yeah, there it is.
The one, though, yeah. This one.
Yeah. And as you can see, he still looks good. The frame rate's a little weird because it's a webinar thing, but normally he's always 30 FPS, and it's great.
Yeah. I'm always 30 FPS. This thing has never faltered on me ever.
So yeah,
like thousands of hours of use.
And that's why. So that captures via HDMI. So I had to get a second capture card to plug it all in together.
That's the whole thing. Is like when you want to upgrade off the USB camera, you're talking about a significant amount of investment.
Yeah.
Just to be able to increase your signal essentially to 60 FPS.
So that investment with the camera and the capture card was probably a $1,200 investment.
It can be a $1,200 investment that you might end up not even liking.
Yeah.
You might have to return everything or do what I usually do when I get a bunch of stuff for my stream, which is gift it to someone.
Nice.
Because I'm too lazy to return things on Amazon. So I'm like, this shit didn't work. Who wants
it's a pain in the ass. Yeah. So you want to talk about what we all have now?
Sure. Like our setups right now.
The fucking
guys, are you ready for the full setup rundown from T-Rex?
You go first.
Okay. So actually, hang on. I got to bring up my website so I can give you a list of like.
I could bring up my receipt.
Everything that's actually in my computer. But before we get to what's in my computer, we can talk about it. So I use the Logitech 920C webcam. We'll go audio video first, and a Electro Voice RE20 broadcast microphone. That runs into the mixing board that I have, which is the Pro Effects 12 mixing board, and I super don't recommend that mixing board. It is really noisy. It has a lot of static and electricity, like it's grounded poorly internally, so it makes a lot of false noise. From that, I use Photo Studio Pro lighting, and I got that on Amazon. That's actually a really good investment, guys, by the way. If you're looking to increase your stream quality, you can spend $50 and get a green screen kit and a green screen and a light, and like, oh, boom, now I have a green screen. I felt really dumb for not buying that, but yeah. So this is the computer that I broadcast off of. I got it from CyberPower. You don't have to buy a pre-built if you want to stream. I got a pre-built because whenever I build a computer, it catches on fire, or it breaks, and I was so sick of taking my computer apart and lacerating my hands, and then as soon as the cuts on my hands would heal, something else would break, and I'd have to take everything apart again. So this is my computer. I have an Intel Core i7 with 582K. It's 3.3 gigahertz. I have a Corsair Series H100i cooling system. I have an SMI X995 gaming ETX motherboard. I have 16 gigs of DDR4 RAM. I have a GTX 980 video card, an 850 watt Corsair power supply. Samsung 500 gigabyte Samsung solid state drive, and the case is not important. Corsair Obsidian series, because I wanted like a lot of space in there. A pretty typical mouse, like, I don't know, it's an ASA mouse. I got this thing for free with my laptop, or I got the thing for free with my computer, so I use it.
No, I don't use it though.
Yeah, because I'm stream from console. I don't need anything.
I got a raid, man. I gotta have a good mouse for my raid.
Yeah, so
can't stand them bad with it.
I have a Razer Chroma keyboard, and then my consoles, and that's about it. Minus my monitors. Oh yeah, that's important too. My monitors. I have all BenQ monitors. I have three. This will probably trigger some people. I have three 21-inch BenQ monitors, and I have one 27-inch that I use as my gameplay monitor, and they're mounted 4x4 or 2x2.
Do you want to talk about how much all that costs, or do you want to keep that private?
I mean, overall, we can talk about it, but like we said, this is slow investment over time. I didn't go out and buy all these things.
Yeah, this was not like I bought all this stuff at once.
You know, and like I told you, first, hardware is the last thing that I invested in, and I spent a lot of money on hardware this year. Pretty much
same. A
sizable amount of income that my stream pulled in, I rolled back into the stream. So I think total all this stuff is probably like $7,000 or $8,000 is my studio right now. It's a lot.
How much was it?
7 or 8 total.
Oh, okay.
With the equipment that I have right now.
I thought I heard a 1 in front of that, and I was like,
no, definitely not 18 or 20.
I was like, bullshit. I'm gonna call bullshit on that.
I'm gonna call bullshit on that. You don't have. No, that's ridiculous.
Sure. All right. So, yeah.
But the setup that I started with, I think the total cost on that was maybe $600.
Yeah, same. Mine was like $500 computer, capture card. I used a webcam mic, set. Didn't have a webcam. Or didn't have a green screen, so it didn't matter. So for me, you guys already know the camera. Plus, I have two of the Mitchell capture cards, and then the capture card I showed you on stream as well as a backup. I use 3 Samsung 23-inch monitors. I'm probably gonna get some BenQ ones. These ones were kind of like they had it in the store, and I was moving, and I needed new monitors, so I just bought these. I didn't plan that far ahead. I should have, so that'll probably be something changing soon. I use a GXL 2200 condenser microphone with a Xenix Q502 USB Behringer mixer, and that works fine. I don't loop the sound through it like Ben does. I do not hear myself like he does, because it causes so many problems for me.
Yeah.
So I use that. I have an eTech City normal bullshit mouse because it's comfy, and I have a Magic Eagle keyboard. I like it. All the consoles, all that stuff. Computer itself, it has a Cooler Master HAF Stacker 935 gaming case. It has tap requirement. I never use it. I wish I actually hadn't got that one. I have 2 CD drives. They're irrelevant. My CPU is the i7-5820K, 6-core, 3.3 GHz, 50 megabyte Intel Smart Cache processor. It has a Deep Cool Captain CPU liquid cooler. I have 3 solid states in there, and then a normal, just 1 terabyte normal hard drive I use for recording, just because it's just cheaper. Where I put all the recorder streams on, just because it's just easier to do it that way. Might do that eventually. My motherboard is Gigabyte X99-UD4 ATX motherboard with, like, I think it's at the Intel slot and all kind of stuff. And I have SLI 980 GTX graphics cards, and that's what I use.
You have SLI?
You didn't know that?
I didn't know that. Holy shit. That's monstrous. No,
that's why whenever I have graphic problems, people are like, oh, you just need a better graphics card. I'm like, bitch, please.
I can't.
Oh, I should just get Titans? That won't
get Titans.
Problem. That wouldn't even matter.
Let me buy a car and put it in my PC.
Like, it's so irrelevant.
What the dump? Okay, so this came up in chat.
Yeah.
And actually, right now, guys, if you want,
I am single. Yes.
Right, guys, right now, if you want, tweet me at Professor Broman or T-Rex at the T-Rex.
Yep.
Any questions you guys might have, we'll be fielding questions for the rest of the time on Twitter. Because we know that you guys have a lot of them. But the question that I saw that matters, I think it's a great place to start as a hardware question, is why do we need mixers? So there are 2 primary types of microphones, okay? One, which we discussed, is a really great place to start with your investment. It's a USB microphone, so that's something that plugs directly in your computer. The audio signal is captured by the device and transmitted through into your computer in a signal language your computer can understand. If you are trying to use a different type of microphone, an XLR microphone, which is just pretty much any kind of studio or performance microphone, you're going to need to run that into a mixer or something that can capture that type of a signal and digitize it. So it takes the analog signal that you're getting from your your microphone, turns it into a digital signal that your computer can receive via USB, or you can even take it out as an analog signal, combine it, and then put it into a sound card. I tried that for a little while. It ended up being a little screwy, but you can take like the 1/4 inch out, turn it into an 1/8 inch, and then plug it in your computer.
Yep.
Bro, man, that was really confusing and a big mess. Welcome to hardware.
And then, so you said condenser mics, right?
Yeah. So this is a condenser microphone. That's what I have.
You can also do shotgun mics. I have this guy, which didn't work out for my room's not big enough, essentially.
Oh, I didn't know I wanted to try out. See, T-Rex is doing all this stuff, and
I did. Well, I just don't talk about it very often because I buy stuff and then it doesn't work out, and I don't want to talk about it because I'm ashamed.
Yeah.
So I bought an Audio-Technica. I honestly don't recall its model number. It's just an Audio-Technica microphone. Might be on the bottom of it, maybe side. Yeah, I can't tell. It's probably on here somewhere. But I got it. This is a really expensive condenser microphone. I wouldn't say really expensive. It's about the same, probably like 3 times my condenser microphone, but like it's whatever. But it's a shotgun condenser microphone, and this is used for kind of like long distance sound. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to take this out of the shot, my normal camera. So I was gonna put this next to my actual camera. And then I could talk to it and all that kind of stuff. But basically, my room has too much echo. It's too small. So this, I didn't return it because I'm probably going to use it if I ever stream my living room. Like if I have friends over for like a board game night, stuff like that, it'll work for that. But basically, there's just so many. Like, you can do so much, guys. Like, there's so much you can try and invest. And
yeah.
Oh, you know, do you know what the number 1 tip is I would give about hardware?
Hit me, man.
Patience.
Oh, God. That's actually a really good one. If you haven't noticed, we've been flying around that one the entire time by constantly talking about your time investment. Every time you make a hardware tweak or a new piece of hardware or you try something, it's going to take fucking forever for it to work. Period.
Yeah.
And sometimes you may even invest 10 to 20 hours in trying to get a piece of hardware to work.
Oh.
And then once it works, you go, I don't like this.
Yeah.
This is crap. Why did I do this? I'm a failure as a person. And then you eat a bunch of ice cream and then you cry.
It's pizza, but yeah.
Eat a bunch of puzzles, whatever, and then you cry. Because it's just, it's true. The number 1 thing you need to do when you're trying to make hardware changes or set things up for the first time is be patient. The other thing that you have to accept is that you need to learn how to do it.
Oh, yeah.
You need to learn how to do it. Because this will happen, and this has been happening in the chat the whole time. This happens to me while I'm streaming in T-Rex, while I'm streaming in any streamer. I have this specific problem. How do I fix it? Nobody is going to be able to fix it but you.
Yeah.
No one will fix it but you, because what worked for me might not work for you. I used to try and help people through this. So I'd be like, okay, well, here's what I did. And they'd come back and be like, I did that. It didn't work. Now it's doing this. And I'd be like, try this. And they'd be like, that didn't work either. And we'd spend 2 hours dialoguing about this with no result. The best way to get something to work on your stream when it comes to hardware is to self-start about it, Google it, which is like if you do computer technician work, Google it is great. Google it, try and see who else has had that problems. And if no one else has had the problems that you've had, go and try and find the appropriate form and fix it. It's not going to give you immediate results, but it's going to actually give you a solution.
And it's going to teach you.
Running around and being frustrated.
It's like the first week we talked about how a lot of people don't know how to run their own stream, or they have someone who built them a thing and they don't understand it. This is why I heavily recommend, if there is something that someone else can do for you, that they're offering to do for you, even if it's free, consider doing it yourself if it's something that's within your ability. So, for example, not everyone can do art, so you can't do layouts for you. I get that. But, like, for example, stuff that's just learning how something physically operates or how something interacts with another piece that you have, learning how to deal with that yourself is going to save you so much headache down the road. And plus, I like solving things and making things work better. So I'm very proud that I've solved my camera problem, that I have solved my audio problems in the past. It's just nice to not have to worry about calling someone on a number or texting someone, hopping in a Skype call with someone, and having them walk you through the process of what your problem is. It's just great. It is what it is. There's some people that are going to say, someone can do it for you, sure, but I would highly encourage you to do it yourself.
Yeah.
100%.
First really good question, something we didn't address, but definitely hardware. What type of lighting do you use to make your green screen chroma effectively?
Rip.
So what'd you say?
Said rip.
Rip. It's a mess, man. Like I said, like we talked about earlier, I recommend any kind of professional studio lighting. Like right now I have umbrellas. Maybe I can show you.
Yeah, I was gonna show mine as well.
These really bright umbrellas. Now you're all blind. These umbrellas that hit the wall behind me in a flat fashion, so there's not any really peaks or dips in the green screen. You can kind of see, since T-Rex is doing the chroma, I have some folds in my green screen that I need
makes it darker.
I need to work out. It makes it darker. Essentially, you need the light to flatten out, or the reason you push the light into the umbrellas and then it reflects back is that it comes out with less of a focal point. So you want flat light on your green screen. So traditionally, light being bounced off of something reflective is going to work really well. My retinas!
Yeah, rip. But yeah, for example, if you want to know the difference of like a distinct difference you can notice immediately versus just using normal white lights, let me turn on my... So now I have my actual room lights on, and it'll look like this. I mean, granted, you get the feeling that you're obviously in my room with me, but that looks like garbage. Like that, like... What if I turn off these two? Like, what if I just use
Oh,
that?
man.
So this is what it would look like if I used just my ceiling lights in my room.
Oh man,
that would be
like
this
you look like you're
strawberry looking motherfucker over here with the green screen problems out the ass, and so there's that.
That's hilarious.
So that's how big of a difference it is between using normal like fluorescent yellow light bulbs that your apartment gives you versus the ones that we have right there.
White light.
Big difference.
Yeah. Is there a recommended wattage? Most of the lights you're going to get are fluorescent. So those tend to run like low wattage light bulbs. The ones that I have are gigantic. Let me get one for you. I think they're like 100-watt fluorescent bulbs.
Oh, Jesus Christ. These are, I didn't buy any of these. I don't know if I should, man. I feel like I need more color. I actually might get like a coloring bulb of some sort. I don't know. For a third one to have like right there to the left of the other one. I don't know. Look like I'm developing film. Do I have a sunburn? Like it's such a big difference, man. It's so big. Ladies. you know. How big is it?
I was wrong, T-Rex. They're 85.
Oh, because that makes
85.
that makes it so much better.
Yeah, I asked these, and again, guys, this was not a purposeful choice. It just happened. Okay. I accidentally bought these to be replacements for my other ones, and then they just ended up being this big.
I can show you mine. How about that?
It is comical. But it actually, since I kind of have a weird shaped room with a lot of depth to it, it actually provides efficient lighting for the entire room, and it has made my camera quality a lot better. It's fucking gigantic. It's ridiculously large. Like, it's completely... I thought that it was a joke when I opened it up. Like, this is right next to my face. They're massive. Yeah, man. But the original lights that came with this were more the size of T-Rexes. That's a lot of light. Yeah, it is a massive amount of light. That is the proper size of the light bulb, the one next to T-Rex's head.
It's a big difference.
Yeah. It's Mandingo lighting control.
Not as big as my dick. Well,
of course. Welcome to Twitch. So again, like with lighting, you want to try and get white light, and you want to try and get light that is flat and fills your whole space, so that way you can green screen things properly. T-Rex, I'm going to put this back, but I found our next question.
Great.
Is there a program which you use to make your mic sound smoother, or is that just calibration on your mixer? Ready, T-Rex, go.
So I don't use a program. I wish. A lot of YouTubers do post-production on their audio all the time. I know when I was on the Planet Destiny podcast, I recorded everything locally with Audacity, and then I shipped it over to them, and then they did some post-touch on it, and then it sounded better. You don't hear a lot of the clicking and the chair creaks and the typing or any of the peaks. They take all that out with a simple post-processing program, but... as far as I know, there is no program that can do that live for you. And even if there was, that means that I have to take it in, read it, and then spit it back out. So there'd be a huge delay on it, even if there is one.
Yeah.
So I don't use anything. I don't know of one. There's a lot of things you can do for after the fact, for post, but for live streaming, no. It's all just working on my mixer, making sure my gain's right, all that kind of stuff. And then just getting a feel for it. I would say the biggest thing with the audio is streaming a lot, listening to your chat. Are you too loud? How are the people around you? How is game sound? I would say
to people in your chat that you trust.
That's a better way to put it. Yeah. But I feel like that's kind of like a given.
If you say, like, is my mic muted? The entire chat's just going to blow up with mic muted, which isn't good feedback.
I would not recommend a sound gate. No.
I used a sound gate for 2 years, and the problem is that when the sound gate opens up, at least on OBS, there's a pop sound, an audible pop sound that drives people nuts. So the audio gate is it's a beautiful idea, but it doesn't really work. And I'm assuming I heard the end of this.
Oh, apparently Pro Tools can do it live. I didn't know that.
Pro Tools can do it live. So if you want to buy Pro Tools. For live audio editing, I suppose you could.
Why not?
But yeah, and again, when it comes to any type of audio processing, any additional processing load you're putting on your computer, whether it's processing video, more video, a game, audio, music, Skype, every single time you layer something onto your computer, you are running it hotter and hotter and hotter and giving it more and more tasks to do, and eventually it could affect the quality of your stream. Which is something that used to happen to me on my older processors. Maybe that's not so much a problem anymore, but it's something to keep an eye out for. If every time you're like, there's a software solution to that, I'll just use the software solution. If you got 10 or 20 software solutions running constantly, you're really running, if you're really running close to a potential problem in other areas.
I guess I know a lot of people use noise gate because they're afraid of, if they have a lot of background noise, stuff like that. I guess that's fine. But then again, like, I don't know if that'd be a fun thing to watch. I personally get annoyed if there's a lot of stuff going on in the background of anything. Yeah. That's why I get mad. I love you, Ben. But there's a problem when we used to do speedrunning together. And he'd be like, oh, I know T-Rex is off doing speedrun stuff during the speedrun, and I have to wait to do a checkpoint. but it's like I'm gonna eat a sandwich, and it would drive me fucking insane. So it's just one of those things. It's just a yeah, fuck you. It's just a pet peeve of mine. But like,
oh shit,
I know I'm not alone with that. So that's why we recommend microphone being one of the top audio things. To where if you can't do your stream in an environment to where it's good for streaming, maybe you want to hold off on it. But honestly, if you have that, you don't need a noise gate. You know what I can do? I don't need a noise gate. So you don't want to hear me? I have a knob. That I can just flick.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can't hear a thing on my stream. So if I have a phone call, you know, it's as simple as that. And the same thing on OBS as well. There's a way you can just click the microphone button that's red, and you can just mute it to where there's no sound coming through. Oh, quick easy tip for audio balancing is that if you can see it on the right side of OBS next to the microphone, there is that. It looks just like a normal sound thing for a computer, and it's a bar and stuff like that. Yeah. It'll show you how loud people are across your stream. It'll peek out at it, like all that kind of stuff. So I balance all my notifications off of that. I have a point I look for. I'm like, I want it to be this loud.
Yeah.
Game sound is this loud. People are this loud. Like I have a mental note of all of that.
Yeah. I try and balance my game audio and my music right around 40%, and my notifications right around 70, and then my voice around 80. So that my voice is the top layer when you're layering the sounds.
And don't feel bad. Like honestly, I know people get they say so and so in your game is too quiet. I personally am under the impression that I don't personally care that much if someone I'm listening to is too quiet, as long as you can hear them. Because even when we multi-stream, like I put Broman lower than me because it's my stream, and I would assume he does the same for me. So that way I don't overpower him.
It's okay to keep your stream, like your voice as the top layer on your stream. I actually
never feel bad about that.
Good, so that people don't get confused about.
I guess especially with us too.
Yeah, especially with the two of us, people can get really confused. They'll be like, bro, man, your mouth's not moving, but you're talking. Can you fix your microphone? And I'm like, that's my brother.
It's fine.
I'm so sorry. It's my brother.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, man.
So sorry.
Yeah, man. Again, guys, if you have any hardware questions, tweet them to me at Professor Woodman or T-Rex at the T-Rex, and we will answer them right here.
That's a good. It's one something that appeared in chat too. It's similar, but when you stream, you wear headphones. Do you have them plugged into the game sound or to your own voice? So I'm gonna open up that question a little bit. Yeah. How do you hear everything?
How do you hear everything? For me, like what do I do?
Let's do you and then me, because ours are different.
Okay. So here's how I hear everything. All right, get ready for a convoluted explanation, but I'll try and do point by point. So game sound goes into the capture device, into my computer. I tell my computer to constantly listen to the capture card as a microphone so that I'm always hearing that in real time. That's how I capture my game audio. And that runs from my computer into my mixer via the mixer's USB and then into my headphones. Again, music, I run it on my computer. It goes into my mixer and then into my headphones. My voice goes into my microphone, into my mixer, into my headphones. So everything is coming into my mixer and then going back out into my computer to create all the sounds. So for me, I hear everything that my stream hears, including my voice.
There you go.
So that's how I do it.
Sure.
It's a mess.
So my console's the same way. Obviously, Ben and I play off monitors. They're not TVs. They have no sound. Even if they did have sound, I don't want that coming across in my microphone as well as through the game. It's complicated. So, that goes into my Mage Well. I have my computer listen to my Mage Well, and then I hear it all the time. And I can also balance it that way, too. It's very simple. I can up and down on my computer, and it lowers the game audio for myself as well as people watching. It's a simple way of audio balancing, which is why I like to do it that way versus like, go in game. Not every game has audio sliders, which is fucking annoying.
Yeah,
it's the worst. There's that, and then honestly, I don't. My Spotify is Spotify. I can hear that. It's on the computer. Simple as that. Notifications, I have them built in somewhere else through an API, and they play in OBS, so I can hear them as well as on the computer. And then I don't hear myself, so I don't have a weird loopy thing with my my mixer. It goes straight to you guys, and I already have a head voice. I don't need it fucked up more because I can hear myself, you know. So I choose not to, which is weird. Everyone calls me weird about that. I think I sound fine. So
yeah, no, I mean, listening to yourself or hearing, like, for me, the reason I wanted to be able to hear myself is because if I don't, I yell too much.
oh.
And that pisses other people off. It's rude, and it hurts my voice at the end of the day. And if I can't talk, I can't stream.
Yeah.
So it's actually the reason I hear my voice is like a health and safety thing, which is stupid as shit.
I use monitors because typically you get better refresh rate.
Yeah,
They just look nicer, and plus they're not as heavy. There's not the extra components that a TV has because it's just for video. Like in my, I just this is fucking humble brag. For my birthday that was recently, I went and got a 4K OLED TV for my living room. It's so nice, man. I love it. It's so nice. I haven't owned literally my entire life. I have never owned a nice TV. 24 years. 24 years. I have never owned a nice TV. It's my first one. You guys.
Whatever, man.
Did you say Pogmans? Oh my god.
Pogman. I said Pogman.
Is that like PogChamp?
Chat, spam Pogman. Okay, so we answered that one.
And an extra one, yeah.
Real quick.
This is a quick one.
Setup. You like this one?
What was you gonna say?
What's the appropriate setup for multiple monitors when streaming?
Oh, go for it. I don't want that one.
There's only one answer to that. It's your preference.
Ooh, same answer, different question. Do you think face cam is necessary?
It's your preference.
Some people would feel that way. I would say it's tough if you are trying to be a variety caster or a personality, because I feel like that's part of it, is seeing who you are. But if you are there to be like the best player in your game, then I don't think it's as important. But I would say for the most part, it is your preference. Do you care if people see you? Yes, no. If you can handle them making fun of you occasionally, talking about your dumb, freckled face, then go for it. But there's successful people on Twitch.
Yeah,
top 10 people on Twitch who never use Facecam.
Dude,
probably
there
never
are
will.
so many days that I wish I could turn on my face cam.
Like, dude, because then you can be lazy as
Sometimes
fuck.
I get upset and I make an angry face, and the second people see the angry face, just like, why you so mad? And I'm like, I just fucking want to turn the camera off, and then they're like, whoa, rage camera quit, and you're like,
yeah,
damn it.
That's a good point too. There's some games that might benefit from it, but if you've always used Facecam, going like, for example,
Taking away your face cam,
it's just it's kind of one of those things where it's however you started, or if you want to change, then it's got to be a permanent change. If it's a temporary change, I feel like it's not worth it, no matter what.
Yeah, exactly.
Next question.
I like Noob Sniper's question. Can we do Noob Sniper's question?
Sure.
If you had an unlimited supply of money, what's the first piece of hardware equipment you'd purchase and why?
Computer.
Really? Just like a godly computer?
Yeah.
Air conditioning unit?
That's cheating.
No, it's not. My room gets so hot, man.
I'm in Texas.
You don't have to I'm closed in a room that has no ventilation, man.
I'm in the same boat.
You can open up your doors.
Not really. Not really. Do you want to hear what my AC sounds like? Because then you don't want me to open my door.
Oh no, really?
It's like.
So you too. We both would want whisper quiet AC units.
But I'm comfortable being like, a little sweaty, but like, comfortable.
I don't like smelling like doo-doo at the end of everything.
Dude, no, you can sweat. Dude, if your sweat consistently smells like doo-doo, you got a problem with your sweat. Is your sweat like 80% pee, 20% water? 'Cause that's like a bad mix of sweat. You should talk to your brain about that.
Listen, man. Listen.
Sounds like fapping. If your fapping sounds like you have a serious need.
Honestly, I think that I would buy the Magewell capture card, onboard one that has 4 channels of HDMI at the 60 FPS 1080p.
I guess the reason why I say computer is because I feel like that reduces the amount of problems you can have, and like everything else is pretty inexpensive in comparison.
It's true.
So I guess we're answering for different reasons.
Yeah.
You're like, what's like the coolest thing? Mine's like, what's the most expensive thing?
Oh man, this is a tough question, but I think it's good, and we kind of discussed it earlier, but we can come back to it.
Hit me, baby.
Would you recommend a condenser microphone with a mixer over a USB microphone such as the Blue Yeti?
I would, because I'm used to mine.
Yeah. Ultimately, at the end of the day, you're going to get better quality out of a condenser microphone. But if
you have more control.
Because you have more control. Like, I have a mixer. Like, I can turn my gain up. I can
down.
Like, I can boost the bass in my voice. I can turn the bass in my voice all the way off.
That sounds...
This messing with you, T-Rex.
A little bit.
Yeah. But these are all audio controls that I have. I think I can go left, right too. Yeah. There you go. Whoa. There's so many different things that you can do with the mixer, and all these tiny little tweaks. All these tiny little tweaks allow you to produce a really rich quality of voice.
I feel
something you can't really do with a USB mixer.
Yeah. I feel like it's like having a car that's an automatic or a car that's a manual.
Yeah.
You can, with the exact same innards, you can get more performance out of a manual because you are smarter than an automatic. So it's kind of the same thing. You have more control about when you can shift and all those kind of things. So they're both great, both fantastic, but one can be better. Simple as that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That was a good question. It really is. For sure. Because at the end of the day, if your goal is best audio quality, you want to use a condenser microphone. This is gonna be better.
If you guys have any more questions, send them to myself on Twitter at the T-Rex or my brother at Professor Broman.
Okay, so here's one. Is there a sweet spot for streaming equipment between expensive, non-complicated, and good quality stream?
I want to say no.
I mean, honestly, based off our experience, you really do get what you pay for.
Yeah. I would say that's electronics in a nutshell almost.
It is electronics in a nutshell. So like that's kind of why we tried to go down the things that are the most important, because there is definitely a bare minimum of quality that I think that people sort of expect. And you're going to need to be able to, a processor that'll be able to run OBS and encode something for you.
Yeah.
A microphone that has an okay quality of voice. You don't sound like you're in a drive-through. If you're looking for a capture card, something that works and isn't going to make you rip your hair out by trying to sync the audio video and stuff. But really there isn't. I think that if we're talking about starting from, you have nothing, you don't even have a console to stream off of, and let's say you're looking to stream PC games, I think that you could probably get something together, budget shopping, quote unquote, for your PC, or maybe getting a used one and then putting together everything else. You could probably start maybe around $800 if you have absolutely nothing. But if you look into it, you're always going to be able to find a bunch of stuff you didn't even realize that you had, or you're going to ask friends, hey, you're not using that, give that to me or whatever.
Yeah. I would say the same. I would say 600-800 is roughly the same. Yeah. I saw a great question we hadn't touched on. That's actually a very important thing that you use every single day that we haven't talked about.
All right, what is it?
Can you think of what it is?
Internet.
That's ugh.
No,
we can. Is that software? I feel like that's software related.
I don't know. It's both.
We have time. But let's talk about mine first. Chairs.
Okay, chair. Oh God, chairs. Smart.
It's something you just don't think about because you're using it. Your ass is on it.
Chairs. Okay. I have a standing desk. I can stand if I want. Chairs are important. If you buy a crap chair, you're gonna be uncomfortable all the time.
If you stream a lot, specifically.
Stream a lot.
Because
I used to stream on a hardback wood chair. After 2 hours, I was ready to die. It was really bad. I would definitely recommend going to an Office Depot or something like that and finding a chair that's comfortable for you.
Yeah.
What do you think, T?
Same boat. A lot of people talk about DX Racer chairs. I can't comment because I never used one. Another can Ben.
I can't.
Here's the thing though. I actually bought one.
Oh yeah.
Yep, it'll be here soon. Mainly because I want to have two chairs in case someone ever comes over, and I figured, you know what, why not? So I got a black one. I personally don't want to use those because I don't want to have DX Racer right by me all the time. It bothers me. I don't want advertising on my stream just because I'm using your fucking chair. It's not how it works. Talk to me though. If I can pay me, whatever. If I like your chair, great. But anyways, that's a big thing. I can maybe talk about it next week if I have it by then. But I got a black one, a very easy, simple black one. The one I have now is give me lumbar support and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't know. I feel like you need to invest it. You got to break it in. Be prepared to have a sore back though. Period.
Yeah. I mean, setting a lot's rough. Take breaks.
And that's other topic is I would say quality of life and quality of health for streaming.
Yeah,
that's a very long
stream life balance.
Yeah, taking care of yourself and stuff like that.
That's definitely one we should have some guests on.
Ooh, yeah,
for sure.
I have a lot of stuff, a lot of new questions.
Someone wants to know if we can. How do you download more RAM? Nice meme. Is it okay if I use the factory share and use PlayStation to stream on Twitch? Yes, there are plenty of streamers who got their start doing that, or streamers who still do it that are quote unquote successful. So you absolutely can do that. Jay though wants to know, what monitors would you recommend to someone starting to buy starter stuff? As the frugal guy, I would recommend going out and buying the cheapest monitors that you can get that have the inputs that you need.
There's no such thing as the best audio mixer to the guy who keeps spamming it.
Yeah. No such thing as the best audio mixer. Only best for your setup. What about you, T-Rex?
Yeah.
What would you recommend monitor-wise? Like
monitor?
What would you recommend for a starting monitor? Buy the cheapest thing that has the inputs you need, because that's what matters.
Something that is not going to hurt your eyes all the time and stuff like that is great too.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a quick topic about like console streaming versus like PC streaming, like in regards to like what you stream from. I know a lot of people were really big on PS4, and it's great that they're big now because, like, for example, Crafty was a good example. It was used 2K plus streamer when he streams on PS4. The nice thing about PS4 when it first came out was there was no Twitch app. Do you know who you could watch streaming on PS4?
Only people streaming.
Only people streaming directly from the PS4. Period. So that helped. That actually helped. Like, that was Crafty striking gold. Like, because then he exploded because people were like, "Oh, #1 peer-to-peer, and I can only watch him." Like, he that was super smart on his part.
Yeah.
But now I feel like that's not exactly a good example. Because I feel like
people have talked about difficulties transitioning from streaming from the PlayStation app because people are used to watching you there to streaming directly from OBS.
And that's the only place they watch. So they can't.
Yeah.
They literally can't watch you if you're streaming from PC. I think it's different now because now PS4 has a Twitch app and stuff like that. But that's just that's just a weird thing that happened recently with like hardware and streaming with PS4. So that's good on him though, man. He is doing super good.
Yeah. So there's that. There was another really good one that I missed. Oh man, I totally missed it. Oh, so we talked about this earlier. How do you get your computer to pick up your capture card as a microphone? Your capture card is capturing audio. It is registered on your computer as an audio input device. So if you go to your settings and recording devices, you should see it listed. Right click on your audio device, go to properties, then the next thing after general is listen, and then check listen to this device. That's how you do it. I didn't know about that at first, so that was good to know, man.
Would I recommend streaming from a PC over a Mac? I have no experience streaming from a Mac. I can't say. I would stream from PC because I've always have. So that's not really a fair question for me to answer. Mm-hmm. I have not used both. To the person who asked that on Twitter.
Yeah. It's very good.
But once again, we are going over some questions, like we're not answering them because we've already answered them. I've seen some repeats on Twitter. I'm seeing some repeats in chat. Yeah. If you have not watched the entire broadcast and you have a question that we haven't answered, we might have already answered it. So I'd recommend making sure you're going back and watching it and stuff like that.
Or watch the upload on YouTube. Or as soon as we get it all sorted out, we will have this up on iTunes.
Ha-ha!
Well.
And no one will listen to it. It's great.
It'll be fantastic.
Wait. I mean, of course I would stream from a Macintosh computer made by Apple.
Steve
creators
Jobs.
Of some things like
was great.
iTunes. Pay me, Apple.
Last piece of hardware to consider. And we touched on it, but we didn't really talk about it.
What?
Is internet. It's not really a piece of hardware, but your router is, absolutely, and your modem is, absolutely. So before we get into the details there, not that there's a whole bunch, because for a lot of people, internet is a really restrictive thing. You can only get what's in your area. My recommendation, the best way to start, and you will definitely be okay streaming for the foreseeable future. If you have a upload connection of 5, you're great.
Yeah.
Okay. I worked off of 5 upload for a long time. Depending on your encoding, you can squeeze out a whole lot more from a whole lot less. Starting out, I've seen Rebel Eyes mention this. He streams anywhere from 1500 to 1800 bit rate, which is, also dynamite.
I used 2K for a long time because I couldn't afford to do any more without dropping frames and having it not work.
Frames. Yeah, exactly. That's oof.
Sacrifice, not quality for quantity, but quality over being able to do it.
Yeah. Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, upload's really important. Weirdly enough, download's important too. If you get throttled for download, your chat will no longer work. That's been a thing with me and Time Warner recently, where sometimes my download goes to 0. So my connection to Twitch, I'm still broadcasting perfectly. My upload's fine, but my chat won't work anymore, and I can't like do anything with any of my browsers. And it'll work like in 5 or 10 minutes, but like it's just a mess. So the internet can be a huge thing. So basically, yeah, 5 uploads, you're golden. Having the extra bandwidth above 3500 is nice because that way if you get hit to where like you drop down to 4, upload for a little bit of time, you still have plenty of bandwidth to play your game and stuff like that and broadcast. But Twitch only allows a maximum of 3.5 megabyte upload per second. So you can push more than that, but it won't matter. It'll actually probably cause problems for you, to be honest. I've never tried.
Yeah, I've accidentally streamed.
I just know OBS just says like I can't do this.
Yeah.
Stop.
This is wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the one question I keep seeing is streaming through Wi-Fi or an internet cord. Wi-Fi is extremely unreliable. You want to wire your connection.
Yeah, period. No matter what. That's not just streaming. That's everything.
My
like, if you can, wire
was
it.
accidentally running wirelessly because my computer was defaulting to it, even though there was an Ethernet cord plugged in.
Which is dumb.
And I thought that my service provider was having problems. They weren't. It was the fact that anytime someone started the microwave, I started dropping frames because wireless.
That's a good point, too. It's a little software thing, but it's just a quick, easy thing. Twitch has servers everywhere. Make sure to pick a server when you stream that's nearby you if you can.
Yep. Also be aware of probably 3 servers that you can use in case one goes down.
Which happened today. For me. I couldn't. I had to switch from Virginia to back to Texas because it wasn't working for me.
Yeah. That happened.
I couldn't go live. Well, I would go live, but then it wouldn't push it. So I switched to ingest servers and then
boop,
magic.
Suddenly. Yeah, exactly.
Can you control your bit rate if you're streaming from the PS4? No,
you cannot.
You can't. A lot of those features you can only do when you use a computer to stream with, and stuff like that. How do you select a server? We'll talk about that on software when we do with OBS. But that's just like a thing. If you are currently streaming, you probably understand that. But we can go into that a different day. But that is software.
What are the proper connections to use a camcorder as your stream camera? If you're talking about a camera like this, you need an additional capture card. So you'd need this, an HDMI cord to go to your cap card, and then to plug your cap card into the computer and capture it as a video source. It's a very complicated solution. I really recommend starting with a USB.
Yeah. Make sure that when you have the camera, I mean, mine I think came with it, but it'll have a different output. It's like a mini HDMI, which I've never seen before until I bought that camera.
True.
So it was that to HDMI, so I could plug into a TV. So I'd already had that, so I just bought a second HDMI cord, bought them Agewell, works fine. Well, after a lot of tweaking with the thing.
Yeah. I still haven't gotten mine to work the way that I want.
I could, dude.
I know, but I don't have time. Maybe if you come visit sometime.
Dude, easy peasy. Aaron Hanser and Dan Avidan? Dude, both. Spit roast. Our AMD processor is good for just not good for streaming. That's not what we were saying earlier. It's just we have preferences.
Yeah,
which I hope that we've both been abundantly clear that we don't hate on a specific company or brand or something that you use. This is just what we are comfortable with, what we like, what has worked for us, what hasn't worked for us, all that kind of stuff. We're not trying to bash or promote anybody.
Yeah.
All we want to do is to have your stream go as smoothly as possible.
Yeah.
Because shit's complicated.
Based off of our experience. So yeah, anytime we say we don't recommend something, someone else might recommend it.
Yep.
The only stuff that I outright decry, or either of us will on this podcast, is stuff that literally just doesn't work and it's not worth your time.
Yeah.
So Dazzle is that. Don't get a Dazzle. It's called a Dazzle. Like, I mean, you can't expect it to be dazzling. Like, it's just bad. It's not great.
Dazzle.
Is a comfortable headset an important piece of hardware? You're going to have to be listening to stuff for a long period of time. I'd say make sure you have something in your ears that you can enjoy listening to. What about you, T-Rex?
Yeah, same. I agree. That's nail on the head.
Nailed it. Nailed it. It's super great.
Oh, I guess over-ears versus in-ears, though.
Okay, yeah. What do you think? I like in-ears because I look ridiculous with over-ears.
I like over-ears because the inside of my ears sweat and it makes me want to punch something. But the thing with over-ears, though, that a lot of people have is, and I had too with my original headphones, was that they would press, like, it wouldn't hurt when you put them on, but prolonged exposure and like the ear being touched in a specific way, it'll make it hurt, like it's fucking getting punched after like 3 or 4 hours. Yeah. And I'm sure everyone's had an experience with that and all that kind of stuff. But me, I like my M100s. It's what I use, V-Moto. They even were very nice, and they sent me ones with my logo on them. But the original ones, I don't like. I had to get the ones with like the super Omega durable padding, or else the other ones I couldn't do them. They hurt too much after so many hours. So these I can wear for 24, 48, a billion hours, and they still work fine for me. But I can't do in-ears because they just bother me. I can't.
Have backup battery supplies been talked about? No. I recommend getting an uninterruptible power supply.
Yeah.
I recommend getting a battery backup. But at the end of the day, if you have a power surge, it might protect your equipment, but it won't keep your stream online.
Oh, I would say at the end of the day, just do that if you have a computer.
Yeah. At the end of the day, you need to do that if you have a computer. But if you think that's going to keep your stream online, if you have a power surge, it's not going to. It's probably going to kill your internet too.
Yeah.
Even if you plug your modem into it.
Simple as that. Well, actually, I think it depends, because I think if it's depending on how the power surge works, like if you have cable internet and everything's running through that, you can probably stay online.
You think you could?
It depends on how your internet's getting sent to your house.
I'll try it. We have lots of power surges here. I'll give it a shot next time.
Well, I mean, yeah, because I mean it's the signal's being through the copper wire, so, and that's not strictly through that's not powered. I don't think. I don't know enough. Just a thing
for real. Something I haven't really mentioned that's important is an HDMI splitter.
Oh yeah, I have one.
I can't believe we didn't cover this sooner.
I have a powered one. Get a powered one.
Get a powered HDMI splitter. So if you're running an HDMI capture from console, it goes into the splitter. Splitter powers it, turns the one signal into two. One goes to the cap card into the computer. The other goes into your playing device, whether it's a monitor or a television. It's very important, and it needs to be powered. As far as which one to buy, I bought the #1 rated one on Amazon, and it works just fine. And it's like $20.
I bought
I have a spare.
Yeah, same. Mine's just a black box that sits around it plugged in. It's nothing special. That's a good thing too. HTCP. I just thought about that.
Yeah, go ahead.
You can get some splitters that can strip HTCP. So for the PS3 and stuff like that, I can't remember if the PS3 ever had the software change where you can turn it off. But if you stream something that has HTCP, you can use splitter to remove it. It's really easy peasy, nothing hard, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's it. Very simple thing.
I feel like we have covered a lot of ground.
Same.
As far as the general questions, I did not expect to get this much done. I'm looking to see if there's any that we haven't hit yet on Twitter and in chat. It looks like we got it.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to cover for the day? Or do we want to just do it? We'll wrap it up.
We can wrap it up.
Wrap it up. And I'll put a nice little
wrap it up.
Fucking wrap it up. The wrap it up
box.
Wrap it up.
Wrap it up, girl. Wrap it up.
Wrap that shit up. Okay. So today we talked about hardware. We kind of gave a rundown on everything and gave our recommendations as to where to invest at the beginning. Although we do not know everything, we do think that contained inside the podcast was a pretty good set of recommendations that might help you figure your way into buying the stuff that you might need.
Go your own way.
Pretty much.
Yep.
Thank you guys for watching today. And thank you anyone who's watching or listening to this podcast later. If you want to find me anywhere on the internet, I am Professor Broman everywhere. At Professor Broman on Twitch or on Twitter. Or at Professor I can't do an outro!
You can find Professor Broman at Professor Broman on Twitter or twitch.tv/Professor Broman/subscribe. Those are two very good places you can find that.
So that's where you can find me.
Yep. You can find me at twitter.com/TheTrex, at the T-Rex. On Twitch, twitch.tv/TheTrex. Sorry, just normal T-Rex. It's weird. It's annoying to me because everyone tanks.
So hard.
No. Mine's different though. Mine is the T-Rex or T-Rex because people take T-Rex everywhere. It's so frustrating. So twitch.tv/T-Rex and then Twitter at the T-Rex. It's frustrating. Want that account, man. Just want it. But yeah, thank you all for tuning in. We will see you next time with. Do you want to talk about? Are we having special guests next time?
Yes,
is that correct?
We are. Let's do it.
So next topic we're going to cover is going to be growing your stream, more or less.
The biggest one.
Yeah, the one
everybody wants.
So, and we're also going to approach it from our perspectives, which is kind of from like a single game or single community
streaming,
versus our two guests, which is Tiger Rider and Brotato from Main Menu Live, the team on Twitch. They're fantastic guys, and they're both variety casters, and they're going to give us a different perspective, and we can all have hopefully a super fun dialogue. They're both great guys. We're going to stuff them in the layout somehow. I don't know.
Just put them right here in the middle.
There you go. That's,
it's set up so we can have 4 people in the middle.
Only if I can touch them.
I mean, yeah, we'll have to decide who's on what side so we can rub them.
Touch. So yeah, that's going to be next time.
Absolutely. So until next time, thank you for tuning in to Streaming 101, and we'll see you later.
Bye, guys.